Resistance. Is it really futile when the Borg catch the Nerf gun every time they're on screen? Let's find out in Star Trek Picard Season 2, Episode 3, Assimilation. But before we get started, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Before I get into major spoilers, I do have one minor one. We're finally in the 21st century. It's presented like it's supposed to be a pessimistic view of our present reality with massive homelessness, immigration raids on free clinics, and out-of-control wildfires, but all I can think of as we're going into our third year of COVID is, hot damn, the pandemic's over! The Borg Queen is delightfully sassy. Annie Wershing gives her this perpetually amused face as she watches everyone deal with her presence. It's a side to the Queen we haven't really seen before. Alice Krige played up her powers of seduction. Susanna Thompson focused on the megalomania and desire to exert control. This version is a master manipulator. She knows what she has, and she knows what she wants, and she has all sorts of ways to maneuver the situation. Now it's time to get into spoilers. When we left off, Seven's husband, the Magistrate, had just beamed aboard La Sirena and shot Elnor. After a tense struggle, the baddies are vaporized, with Rafi specifically delivering the killing shot on the Magistrate. Seven shoots her a look like, "Oh, you really wanted to kill my husband, didn't you?" Agnes gets the Borg Queen all plugged into the ship, and she begins to take control, modifying torpedoes to kill the ships pursuing them, and calculating that classic warp slingshot time travel maneuver. I was curious to see what kind of special effects we get on this one, because Star Trek IV had that early CGI morph of everyone's face turning into everyone else's face. This time we actually get to see entropy revert. A tear rolls up Agnes's face and sparks fly into the ceiling. Time travel also apparently causes the scale of everything in space to change, because in the very shot where they arrive in 2024, they're right above the sun, and the Earth is fully visible and detailed. I know it looks more visually appealing to present things that way in VFX, but as an astronomy nerd, that kind of stuff breaks my immersion. Ship's power is low, and the Queen's connections have limited their access to ship systems, and Picard pilots the crashing ship into the woods over Chateau Picard. They're faced with a difficult choice. Elnor is dying from that gunshot wound, and the biobed is the only thing keeping him stable. But the Queen is also being supported by the remaining ship energy, and they need her in order to find the change in the timeline and return to the future. Picard makes the call and prioritizes the Queen, and Elnor dies. We haven't really seen Rafi and Elnor's relationship before this point, but it's clear he's become a surrogate child to her. It's likely a comfort since her own son disowned her. She's with him the whole time and takes his death hard, but she chooses to believe that if they fix the timeline, his death will be undone. I would hope so too, because it seems like they already wrote Soji out of the show, and with Elnor gone, we're missing out on some premium fish out of water antics in 2024. Also, I know at least one friend who is going to be in my DMs crying about her boy being gone, so, like Rafi, I'm gonna hold out hope that he returns. With ship's power stabilized, they take on two missions. Rafi, Seven, and Rios will beam to Los Angeles and scan for subspace signals to see if there's an alien presence they can track down. Picard and Agnes have to revive the Queen to gain her intel on the source of the timeline change. And Agnes reasons the best way would be to let her partially assimilate her mind until they've got her booted up. It's actually a nice double meaning for the episode, because Agnes is literally getting assimilated, while the others try to assimilate into 21st century culture. Considering my dislike for Agnes, I was hoping that getting assimilated would be an improvement to her personality, but nope, she's still just the worst. At least we can blame part of it on the Queen manipulating her. Also, the assimilation process is weird because apparently 25th century humans have a neck USB port. Anyway, once she's awake, she tries to negotiate. She'll tell Picard what she knows about the timeline change, but they have to give her the ship. However, the Queen was apparently outmaneuvered by Agnes when their minds were linked, and Agnes stole the intel from her brain. Agnes, who is literally just a human being. Man, the power of the Borg really does reduce every time Star Trek brings them back. Rafi and Seven beam near each other, and we finally get some solid team-up action from our space bisexuals. And Seven notices that without her Borg implants, strangers aren't afraid of her, and she's having positive interactions. Rios, meanwhile, beamed 3 stories up on a fire escape and has a nasty fall. He's found and brought to a free clinic that deals with a lot of undocumented immigrants. Though, I gotta say, for a free clinic it looks pretty swanky and not nearly crowded enough. He seems to have a flirty connection with the doctor and befriends her little kid who stole his communicator. But Immigration Services raids the establishment and now he's in custody with his comm badge still at the clinic. So what do you think of this episode? Where do you think it's going next? Leave a comment down below.
What if the Watcher that the Queen knows about is Guinan, and this season explains why Q was afraid of her?
That would actually be really cool. And also funny if they don't de-age Whoopi Goldberg for it. Elnorians could just bounce around their age as they please. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and share the video with your friends. Subscribe to my Patreon to get shouted out in future videos. Check out my Bandcamp for banging tunes, including all the tracks you heard in this video. Follow me on Twitter @GayestFesh, and don't forget to check out my podcast, The Rest of Both Worlds, where I go through Star Trek The Next Generation with a friend who's never seen it. Thanks to my patrons Piftle Cakes and Renee Vorbeck. Your support is greatly appreciated. See you all in the next video.